Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Flexies and fellow PPNers. Hopefully you had a blessed weekend. I did. And I wanted to play that song, Smile, and hopefully you saw the lyrics to that, because that's all you need to do. When you smile, guess what? I always say the world smiles back at you, right? And you never know what someone's going through. Look at all the people that I've walked by when I was diagnosed with cancer. How many people smiled at me knowing the fight I was going through with my life, right? Not too many. But if you smile at somebody, they have a choice. They're going to smile back at you or they're just going to stare at you. And I'd rather them obviously smile back at me, but if they feel uncomfortable, guess what? Stare at me. But at least they're going to see Jesus through my smile, through my eyes. So hopefully you guys had a great weekend. I want to give a shout out. You've heard me talking about them. They are my newly found friends. Alan, I got his name right. I nicknamed him Mark. It's an inside joke. And Robin, the proud owners of only 4 months, guys. 4 months they had this spa, this tanning spa, the one with the floating pods I talked about. They were recognized Saturday night as the top new merchant of all of Anna. That is huge. In only 4 months, they did that. So congratulations, you guys, well deserved. I knew you were going to win that. So now you can go to the #1 spa in Dallas. And look, I drive 35 minutes a day. 35 minutes a day. I drive up there at least 3 to 4 times a week. Why? Because I want to hang out with them. They're fun people to hang out with. Chloe, Tracy, Robin, Alan. If I forgot anybody, I apologize. But those are the people that I deal with. You get to choose. You can float in a pod for 30 minutes, an hour, where you just leave your phone, you leave your email, your text, everything aside, and you just have to relax. The other day I had a water massage for 30 minutes, and then you can tan. So, but I love them because they treat you like family. And I kid you not, that is how they were introduced, is treating you with family. So in front of me, I have the mushrooms. These are the 2 that I'm taking. That's why I have them at the top. Boom. I take 5 of these and 5 of these. These are the ones I started out with, for everybody that knows. Spoke to a gentleman from Iowa, I think, or Idaho, Saturday night. He got 2 boosters. No, he got the booster and the 2 shots. He got Pfizer and Moderna. He's having problems with his heart, clarity. I got him on both of these guys. Now, I told him I can't guarantee him anything, but if you continue on doing this and root brands, he has a good chance of reversing the adverse effects, at least some of them, of his ouchie Fauci. So spoke to one woman last night in the wee hours of the morning, and she told me about her sister that died. Got this shot, went right to her heart, boom, dead. So this is pretty serious. And the next thing they have on us, this disease X, I think it's going to be like rabies. That's why they talk about the zombie apocalypse. Rabies is the same thing. And it is going to attack your immune system. So I don't know about you. I don't know anything faster that will support your immune system than these mushrooms. So if you're healthy as a horse, like I was before I had cancer, guess what? Be proactive. Don't be reactive. So, all right. So with that being said, our guest today is, and I don't know where she went. She just disappeared. I was just going to bring her up, and I looked down and she's gone. So we'll give her a minute. Come back on. Hopefully she's okay. I will talk about another thing. So looks like there is another person hiding behind the cross, a fraud, bigger than that, probably a deceiver and a thief. And I have the receipt. Oh, there she is. And so when the time's right, I'll out that person, but I'm going to give that person 24 hours to do the right thing. And if they don't do the right thing, then they will be on that list. So another one, guys, another one. So there she is. Hello, Miss Stacey. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. I don't know what happened there, but I had to leave and come back.
I know. I'm like, I was just about to bring you on, and I turned down. I'm like, where'd she go? Um, I met this lovely, sweet lady in Arizona at my buddy AC's Millionaire Mingle this year, and then saw her and shared the stage with her in Colorado, her hometown, and with my buddy Greg. And the thing that I liked about Stacey was you came across very genuine. I'll let you talk about what you do. And I talked to you the other day on the phone, and I love the charity that you're going to talk about. And so the first thing when people see Mile High, they're like, "Oh, the Mile High Club." No, 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 that's not what she does. Not the top people that are intimate on the plane in the back of a plane. Um, but I kid. But you are a top realtor in the Colorado area,
I'm a
and
mortgage lender. I'm a mortgage
mortgage
lender.
lender. Okay,
Yeah.
and but you work with the top realtors in the
Yes.
Colorado area. Okay,
Yes.
and so number one, the first question I have to ask you because I know people are going to be texting this. How is the housing industry right now?
So last year was a little soft as far as transactions go. Um, and it's because interest rates went up last year and they
Mm,
had been going up a little bit before that. I feel like I can palpably feel the shift. Usually it's after the Super Bowl. We can feel a shift in the market, and it's definitely happened this year. People are out there looking. I'm seeing multiple offers on properties. I just got off a call with my team, and one of my loan officers' clients got into a bidding war on a $1.6 million property.
mm.
So people are buying. Yeah.
Well,
And
that's good.
so it's good. Yeah.
That's really good. I mean, because when people, and people say, "Oh, interest rates were high." I remember when they were 20%,
Right.
18%, right? And
Yeah.
so even at 8%, they're not high. But when you get spoiled at 3%, right? Now 8% is a jump. And I get that. That makes sense. But all right, so let's get into who you are. So for the people that don't know who you are, introduce yourself and tell them a little bit about you. And I like to have the person explain their story because I can't tell your story better than you. So take it away, Stacey.
All right. Well, my name is Stacey Dowling, and I am a mortgage lender here in Denver, Colorado. And I lend across the nation, but most of my transactions are here in Colorado just because I live here. I've been in this industry for 30 years. And so I've seen a lot of ups and downs. I I've seen a lot of waves of interest rates, going higher and lower. And the 3% rates were incredible, but that took a global economic event for that to happen. And
Mhm.
so I just want to put this out there. If you're waiting to buy a home for rates to go back to the threes, you may never buy a home.
Correct.
So there are strategies to help you be able to afford a home, and we can talk about all that stuff later. But I love my job because I get to meet so many different types of people. And with my job, I originate the loan. And so what that means is I make sure that the person who wants the loan qualifies it. Part of that is learning about what they do for a living and how they make money. And there are so many cool, incredible ways that people earn a living, and it's just really fun to learn those things, and to get to know my clients. Some of my clients I've worked with for this whole 30 years, and I just keep working with them and their children and all the stuff. And so that is really the most fun that I have with my job, is just, meeting new friends, making those relationships, and learning about people. So it's really fun.
And so March 2nd, right? You have your annual event. So let's bring that bad boy up. And I want you to talk about that, exactly what this is, because this looks pretty cool. I heard you talk about it and you sent me this. So there you go. So go ahead. Right? March 2nd, right? March 2nd,
March
casino.
2nd. Yeah, which
Yep.
is Saturday night. It's called the Mile High Leaders Event. This year, it's the Mile High Rollers because we are doing a casino theme. Think Monte Carlo. This is really cool. We are having our party this year at a place called Elevation Motors. They've got all kinds of, classic, beautiful cars, and we're doing a casino theme. What we do is we honor the top 100 real estate agents and top 10 teams in the Denver metro area, hence the Mile High Leaders, because
Uh-huh.
Denver is a mile high. Um, and it's a fantastic event. We always have a charity that we sponsor. This year, I'm really, really proud of the charity that we're sponsoring. It's called Project I See You. They are a local Denver charity that gives grants to women in Denver to either start a business or buy a home, which is incredible and
Wow.
really obviously fits well within our industry.
Right. And how did you come up upon that ICU? I love that. I mean, that's why I wanted to have you on here, because I wanted to talk about that. How did you come upon that? Because that's such a unique charity. I've never heard of anything like that.
It is a unique charity, and you know, I really believe people are put in your life at the right time for the right reason. Last year, one of our winners at the Mile High Leaders event bought a table for her friends that run Project ICU. So we got to meet them last year at our event and learn more about their charity, and just really fell in love with them. I mean, how great is it to give a woman a leg up to start a business
Yeah.
or to buy a home? I mean, those of us that are moms, we know how important home is. And
Hmm.
so I just think that's an incredible opportunity that they're affording these women that wouldn't have this ability otherwise. And
Right.
so we fell in love with them at our event last year, and we've been working with them throughout the past 12 months, to really make the most out of this event to bless them as much as we can.
Right. Yeah. That's and how long has ICU been in business?
Project I See You, I believe, started in 2006, and please don't quote me on that. Um, but and what's cool is they're a local Denver
Right.
charity, and so it really impacts our community right here. So, for the Mile High Leaders, this is our 10th anniversary. And we are just really excited that we've been able to do this for 10 years and to bless nonprofits I am really the most excited though about this nonprofit, and they may be our partner going forward for the next 10 years.
Yeah. I love that. And now, how do you choose, or do you just give the check to the nonprofit and they choose who it helps, or how does that all work?
So we will give the proceeds of the evening event to Project ICU, and through their discernment, they will decide who gets the grant. And it may be, part of our proceeds go to several people in
Right.
their charity. But this is just it's a great cause, and it's a great event to, it's awesome to celebrate people for their accomplishments, but it's even better when you can help someone else accomplish something.
Right. And I tell people that all the time, when you serve other people, there's nothing better than that.
Right. So,
Okay. So March 2nd, and then
yes.
tell people how they could get a ticket, how they could donate, how they could help you out if they wanted to donate it to ICU. Maybe they can't make it to the event, but they want to donate. Or I have a lot of listeners that love to pay it forward, where they'll purchase a ticket or something, and you just give it out to your discernment. How do they get a hold of you?
So, they can go directly to our website, themilehighleaders.com. There's
Okay.
a link. There's a link to buy tickets. Within that link, you can also just do a straight donation to Project ICU or buy
Okay.
a ticket. Um, and and if somebody has questions, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. Here's my number. Get a
Right.
pen.
Right.
303 946 3878. You can call me directly. If if you have questions about the event or about the charity, you can just call me directly.
Yeah. So March 2nd, Saturday,
Yes.
at what time?
It is from 6 to 10 p.m.
And it looks like you have a DJ. Looks like you're gonna have some food. Looks like you're gonna have
Yeah.
a bar. So you're gonna have some liquidations, I call them.
Yes.
Libations, right? And this is the 10th time you've done this, right?
Right.
So
So it's
why do you do this, Stacey? Like why do this? Why do an event like this? What do you
well,
get out?
so as a mortgage lender, I work with a lot of realtors, and most of my business comes from referrals from realtors. And whether I work with a particular high producing realtor or not, they still help my industry thrive. And
Mhm.
so um, it's been really great to get to know these top producers year after year. And usually I do some private interviews with the top 10 each year. And it's been great to see some people just stay in that top 10, for 10 years, or stay in
Mhm.
number one for several years. But it's also been really fun to see the up and comers and the younger people in our industry really thrive and start doing really well.
Yeah, I
So
always say, it's easier to get to the top. It's a lot harder to stay there.
I agree.
It's
I
a lot
agree.
harder. You have a target, you have people that want your spot, and they'll do whatever they have to, sometimes nefariously. Um, yeah. So okay. So anything else that you want to talk about before I let you go? Because I know you're a busy woman, especially planning this. Anything else you want to talk
Yeah.
about? You want to promote?
Well, Chris, I really appreciate you having me on today and just want to thank you. Um, when Chris and I met, I was just so impressed with his testimony and his ability to just be vulnerable in front of people. And more people need to be that way. And we hit it off right off the
Yeah.
bat. Attended a mastermind the next day together, and I mean, now I count him as one of my friends, and we've only met in person a couple times. And so, Chris, thank you so much for having me on your show today and letting me talk about our event and our charity. And, you know, we'd love to see any of you guys come to our event, and let
Yeah.
me know if you come to the event because of Chris. Maybe there'll be
Baby
a
Trump.
special prize.
Yes, baby Trump. Yeah, look, guys, this is a lot of fun. It looks like a lot of fun. I would be there if I could. I'm speaking somewhere else. I was just asked to, but I was going to go, even though I don't know anybody, just because you never know. You never know who you're going to meet at these events. I had a situation, this weekend where I met somebody, and you just never know who you're gonna meet at an event, and then you're like, okay, now I know why I was put here, right? It wasn't by accident. It was a godsidence. Not a coincidence, it was a godsidence, right? So thank you so much, Stacey, and I'll have you on again, I'm sure. And I really, really, I'm gonna look into that ICU charity and see if there's anything that I can do as well to help them, because I love that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Have a blessed day. God
All
bless.
right. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
So that was Stacey Dowling. March 2nd. March 2nd. You want to go to Casino and Cars. You want to be a part of this event. Stacey told you how to get a hold of her. So there's no excuses, especially if you live in the Colorado area. There's no excuses why you can't make it out. And I know it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay. That being said, we have 30 minutes. We talked about love and respect, and I cannot believe how much my phone blew up about this topic of love and respect. And I went to church yesterday. I want to give a shout out to them. Hope Church right here in Prosper. Next week, I'm going to go to Gateway in Prosper. And, I walked in and I didn't know what church to go. Should I go to Gateway? Should I go to Hope? And I ended up at Hope. And I know why I was there, because as soon as I walked in, they were doing a 4-part series on committed. First of all, I love that word, right? I always say either 100% committed or you're out. Now, if you're 99% committed, you're out. And when we talk about marriage, could you imagine you're in front of your pastor or priest or whoever, right? Hopefully a pastor. And they turn to you, whether it's a he or she, hopefully it's a he, and he turns to you and he says, do you take this woman or do you take this man to be your wife or your husband? You go, you know what? Yeah, I'm 99% sure. 99% sure. Could you imagine somebody saying that? You might as well say I'm out. So they did a thing on committed. You have to be 100% in, all in. And they did it on forgiveness. What have I been screaming from the mountaintops for the last year on my show? Forgiveness. And he did everything that I've talked about. I loved it. And I sat there, and as I was sitting there, I had this discernment upon me. And I want to speak about it. We're going to jump right into this. I was sitting there, I'm like, okay, so in the Bible, and this is the Bible again, it says that if somebody hurts you, if somebody trespasses against you, you are to go to them and you are to communicate to them what they have done to hurt you, to do something wrong to you. If that does not work, you are to bring a brother or a sister in Christ or a group of people as witnesses to this person tell them, okay? It's not like you're trying to team up or anything. It's you're bringing witnesses, other people in Christ, so they could witness your behavior and you telling them that. If that doesn't work, well, then you treat him as a pagan or a corrupted tax collector. That is the Bible. How about that? Cut him off. Boom, done. So, with that being said, I have tried for 2 years to go to some patriot, for the lack of the word, influencers. I believe influencers could be good or bad, right? And put an olive branch out, which I have the proof, and 2 years. And I just actually did it 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago to influencer, initials DJ, where he brought my name up, not in a good light. And I sent him a text that you guys are going to see soon. And the reason that I do this is because maybe I did something for them to do this, right? To attack me, to try to destroy me, destroy my life, some people. And I don't think they thought I was smart. I don't think they thought I was going to CYA. But I have it all. You know what Trump says? I have it all. I have it all. I have all the receipts. I have all the text messages, the voicemails, the emails, with their names on it, stamp, date, time. And as I was sitting there thinking about the forgiveness, I was like, you know what? You know what's sad? Is they won't even let me talk. So, supposed to bring witnesses. I've done that part. I've had other people talk to them. That hasn't worked. So now I'm to treat them as a pagan and as a corrupted tax collector. And I'm going to out them. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the receipts. I'm just going to show you, hey, here's this person. This is what they said to me. This is what they did. This is our relationship previous to it. So in other words, it's not like I have revenge, right? No. And why am I doing this? What do I get out of this? I don't have a dog in the fight anymore. I don't care, right? I've moved past it. I'm doing other stuff. So there's no reason other than for you people out there, to know who you can trust. Because right now is the biggest time for you to have discernment. And the way that you trust people in the Bible says you judge them by their fruits. If you go to a tree and it has bad fruit, good fruit cannot come from that bad tree. So if they are like that with me, how do you think they're going to be with you? And it shows previous relationship, how close we were. And these people, we were very close. Isn't that funny? We were so close. And then they did me wrong. And I have the proof. And then I said, you know what? I'll forgive them. I'm a better person. I'll put the olive branch out. See what happens. And I'm going to give them one more chance. They have one more chance. And that's it. You know who you are. Pick up the phone and call me. And we can do this behind closed doors. For the ones that say, and I'm talking to you influencers, okay? I'm not going to mention names. For the ones that say we want unity, you know what? You should be turning around to the people that I put the olive branches out, the major players, and you should be telling them, pick up your phone, who do you think you are, and call Chris Baby Trump. What he wants to talk. He wants to unite. He doesn't want this. He doesn't want this division. So don't you dare tell me that I want division or that I want to break this community. No, 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 no. I've proven to you 3 years of my life, even when you did me wrong, that I want unity. But you wouldn't let me. And so I have to go to the people and I have to show the people and let the people be the judge. And I'm sure when they see it, they're not going to be too happy. And I'm sure they will spread the word and I don't have to. So that being said, I want to talk about love and respect. Hopefully, guys, over the weekend, you thought about the things that we talked about. Ephesians 5:25-33, his love, her love. Okay? So, as we dig deeper to understand not only how to love, but how to express love in a language that your spouse, your man, your woman, will understand. His love language, her love language are often not the same. So let's get started at verse 25. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Now, this command is specifically for the men. Husband, love your wife. But what does that mean precisely? Love is a word with a deep meaning and a lot of subtlety. When the New Testament was written in Greek, there were actually 4 different words that all got translated in English as love. They had separate words for affection, brotherhood, romance, and self-sacrifice. In our English Bible, all 4 just say love, which maybe explains some of our confusion over love when we use the same word for 4 very distinct emotions and actions. When it comes to marriage or a serious relationship, we need all 4 of these. Husband, men, your wife, your woman needs your affection and your brotherhood. And obviously, she certainly needs your romance. But the word here used in Ephesians 5 is the deepest of loves, and that is agape, the sacrifice of self. You hear me talk about my ex, where she's so selfish emotionally. I would say she was emotionally bankrupt, where when I would go to her and say, this is what you did to hurt me. You yelled at me like this. She'd go, you're too sensitive. Oh, that's small. That shouldn't bother you. That is not her right or your right to judge that. Agape love is sacrifice of self. In other words, even though I think it's minimal, I think it's stupid, doesn't matter. It affected you. When it affects another human being, it does not matter what you think. Very simple. If you've been around me and if I've hurt you, if I've done something, please forgive me. I'm asking your forgiveness. Okay? If I've done something. And the example given to you for love is Jesus. It is nothing less than the very cross of Christ, the ultimate sacrifice. The way that Jesus loves us, how he lays down everything for us, even life itself. That is a way that you are called to love your wife, your husband. Put her first, put him first, always after. In every decision, in all your work, in every ambition, do it for her. Set her needs above your own. That's powerful. Choose an attitude of love toward her and take action to demonstrate your love with real sacrifices. Put in effort, creativity, talent, work. Now you have to wonder, in the Bible, is the wife called to love her husband? Yes, indeed. Titus 2:4 calls on the older woman to teach the younger ones to love their husbands and their children. But it's interesting. The word for love in Greek there is different. It's the word for friendship or brotherhood. In other words, your husband is family now. So learn to be a good friend to your husband. Again, I'm going to say this, and I'm different, and I'm glad I'm different. If you're not married and you're living together, or you're in a serious relationship over a year, I would say, right? You still look at your man as a husband. If you look at your man, listen to me. If you look at your man, ladies, and say, put a ring on it, Beyonce. Yeah, well, because she's the mom. You don't have to put a ring on it to have a commitment, to be committed. I remember telling my ex, even though we weren't married, we lived together, I acted married here and here. She didn't. When she came to me and told me, oh, my family said, well, we're not even married, so it doesn't matter. Well, shame on them. Shame on them for telling you that and instilling that in you. So what we see is that the husband and wife both need love. But the love they need isn't exactly the same. And it's more than just the difference between male and female. Every man is different. So part of your work here is getting to know your man, your woman, your spouse, and learning how they receive love. What is their love language? The five love languages are words of affirmation. I talked about this, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. Your job is to figure out which are most meaningful to your spouse and learn to speak that language. It is certainly biblical to put your spouse's needs above your own, to love them on their terms. On their terms. You don't love the other person on your terms. See, that's what my ex does. She wants to love me on her terms. And then she turns around and says, oh, everything I do isn't good enough. No, because they're on your terms. If you love me, then it has to be on my terms. Make sense? Think about that, people. That might have been a light bulb right there. When you love someone, you love them on their terms. You don't love them on your terms. Men, learning how to love your wife or your girl is not a weekend project. You have to make sure she knows she's loved according to her needs. That's your lifelong endeavor. You know, her need for me, the one that she said I destroyed, was threaten to leave. But I couldn't get through to her, so I didn't know what to say other than, I'm going to leave. Either this is going to change and there's going to be a change in our relationship, or I'm leaving. I'm not going to stay here and feel invalid and have my feelings not heard or seen. So, yeah, her needs will change with age and season. Husbands, this is your mission, men. It will require humility, sacrifice, above all, communication, empathy, and learning to love like Jesus. So devote yourself to this task. Love your wife. Wife, women, your challenge is just as difficult. Ask a woman who's been married longer for her wisdom. Or go to your church, mentoring couples. But back to Ephesians 5. Let's walk through the verses to find some insight on what husbands and men can learn from Jesus as their role model. Husband, men, love your wife, you women, just like Jesus loves the church and gave himself up for her in verse 26. Holy means set apart. Jesus sets his church apart to care for her. And a good husband, a good man, should set his bride, his woman, apart from every other woman. I want to give a shout out, Mary Massey. Hi, Mary. I've known Mary for 3 years. Talked to her the other day, and Mary said something to me. She said, man, you gushed over your ex-girlfriend. She goes, you would bring her in front of us? She said, I heard other women would talk and just the respect and how I would gush over her and how attractive I looked to other women because their men weren't doing it to them. How about that? And she's been around me. She's been at events. And she said, never have you ever done anything indecent, improper to me, to another woman. You've never engaged in a sexual conversation, a sexual joke. You've never put yourself in a compromising position. You never flirted. You never took on a flirt. That is powerful. Powerful. And that's what it is saying in the Bible, is that when men, you don't have eyes. And I don't ever want to hear a man say, well, I can look, but I can't touch. Show me in the Bible where it says that. Right here it says, should set his bride, his woman, apart from every other woman. That means you're with your woman, your bride. You don't look at another woman. No other woman exists physically. Does that make sense? No woman in, man, I'm going to get choked up. No woman in your life is like her. Man, come here. You should not laugh with another woman the way that you laugh with your wife. You shouldn't talk to another woman the way that you talk to your wife. You shouldn't have intimate conversations with another woman as you should with your wife. No relationship in life is like this one. I can honestly say that. No relationship, no friendship. That was my relationship. Marriage is holy. Whether, listen to me, man. Listen to me, women. Whether you have that piece of paper that says you're married or not. If you are with someone, you're with them. And if you don't think it's holy, guess what's going to happen? The demon, the devil, will slip in and make it unholy. To make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word. Ephesians 5:26. Jesus washes our souls clean through the word. That's why we're reading the Bible right now. But catch this. For husbands and men, and the reason that Jesus does is verse 27, to present her to himself as a radiant church without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. That is Ephesians 5:27. Jesus washes us clean to make us radiant. He wants us to shine. You know, when you go and wash your car, it's radiant when it comes out. It shines. When they do my rims, I love it. It's right? And a husband, a man, a real husband, a real man, godly man should love and sacrifice and lead his wife, his woman, in such a way as to make her shine, to make her beautiful. the very sacrifices you make her beautiful in your eyes. I used to say to her, "You're the most beautiful woman I ever met. You're the most beautiful woman I ever saw." I would tell her that pretty much every day. They set apart a place in your heart, sanctified for her. And notice, Jesus washes us through his word. Husband, men, speak to your wife, speak to your woman. Words that let her know how special she is, how she is set apart in your heart. That, when I met my ex, I said to her something that happened. I said, the only woman that will ever be able to take me away is you. That's special. When you tell a woman that the only woman that could ever come between you and her, man, is her, that's powerful. That's saying, man, you're special. The only woman will be you that'll screw this up. Verse 28, in this same way, husbands, men ought to love their wives, their women, as their own bodies. Ephesians 5:28. You'll always hear me talking about your body's your temple. You're given one temple. I love that people say, "Oh, baby Trump, Christian, oh, he's so in love with his body. He's so vain." Yeah, I am. And I used to take, blah, blah, blah. I fight it. Now I accept it. I resonate with it. You know why? Because Jesus is in me. So if Jesus is in me, you're damn right I care about my body. And if I care about my body, then I'm going to teach other people to care about their body, which I've done. And I'm also going to love a woman as much as I love my body. Well, Chris, you work out 5 days a week minimum. Now I'm working 6 days, right? So I'm 7. Yeah. Do you work at your relationship 5 days a week? 6 days a week? How many people work on their relationship once a week? How many people don't work on it at all? Husband, men, your wife, your woman is your body. Think about it. When your arm hurts, you care for it, right? When your stomach rumbles, you feed it. And let's be honest, you do that quite well. You spend a lot of time and thought and energy and creativity taking care of your body. Now I challenge you. Put in the same effort for your wife and your woman. She is a part of you. And she should be your best part. And up until last, 9 months now, she was the best part of me. And when she didn't become the best part of me and she turned cold and against me, I had to cut her out like cancer. Back in verse 28. He who loves his wife, woman, loves himself. After all, no one ever hated their own body, but they feed and care for their body just as Christ does the church, for we are members of his body. Ephesians 5:28-30. Don't think that's a criticism. That's in the Bible. That's biblical. And then Paul reminds us of God's original plan from Genesis. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, to his woman, and the two will become flesh. They will become one. This is a profound mystery, but I'm talking about Christ in the church. Ephesians 5:31-32. It is when a man and woman cleave together, because when it's an empty nest, they have nothing but themselves. I love how Paul finishes it out. He reminds us of God's design, then just sort of steps back and marvels at it. He calls it a profound mystery, two becoming one. He marvels at God's plan for husband and wife and even more at Jesus and his church. I used to say to my ex, man, we're powerful together. We are so powerful. We're strong independently, but man, when we unite and we do something together, it is, people say it. Then he sums it back up where we started. Husband, love your wife as yourself. Wife, respect your husband. And for that one, we'll talk about this on Wednesday. So if you're listening to this, hopefully your husband, your wife, your man, your woman, and if you're not, listen to my podcast together. Tell me your thoughts, what he thought, what she thought, what you guys talked about. But I want you to do this differently. This time I want you to write down your answers to both questions before you share it with your spouse. Question number 1. What speaks love to you? What is your love language? List 4 important things. They can be words, they can be actions. Whatever communicates that you are loved. So for me, what I was trying to tell my ex for the longest time is speaking harshly. The tone of your voice, I'm not good with. Passive aggressive, I'm not good with. Passive aggressive, by the way, for people that think it's not, it is one of the most threatening things to a relationship. It is, what it is I call it a sneaky rage. So you're not yelling at the top of your lungs, you're not body language, but the passive aggressive cuts. You slice people's jugular with passive aggressive. Because instead of you communicating what upset you, you hold it in, you don't discuss it, and then you lash out. I'm not good with that. So I'm giving you an example. This is very important. I don't want you to share it yet. Question number 2. How do you speak love to your spouse? Again, write 4 things. Keep it to yourself. Once you both answer both questions, share it with one another. Tell me. I'd love to have a couple do this and tell me their experience. I think it would be so cool. And then I want you to read Ephesians 5:25-33 and Titus 2:3-4 together. Whether you're on the couch, man, I want you to hold your woman. I want you to hold your woman. I want you to read Ephesians. I want you to read Ephesians 5:25-33 and Titus 2:3-4. I want you guys to read it. I want you to read it to her. And I want you to look at her. And I want you to tell her how she's the most beautiful woman you ever met. How there's nobody like her in your life. And how much she means to you. Women, I want you to turn to your man. I want you to tell him how much you respect him. How much he means to you. That there is nobody that can hold a candle to him. How much you think about him. Even when you know. Even when you don't tell him. Guys, I'm not an expert in love. I just know the Bible and I read the Bible. And I know that if you love God, You love your body, you'll be able to love another human the right way. Have a blessed day. I will see you guys on Wednesday. Flex your mind, flex a muscle, flex your truth. God bless.